We'd like to invite you underneath the tent. Our program will begin shortly. Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are the Royal Hawaiian Band, formed here in 1836. 100 years ago, we were right here for a celebration of this kind. You've been listening to Kalai Stern, vocal, male vocal, and Ku'ule Hazelwood as a little dancer. And to close off our portion of the concert, we're going to bring to you the one and only Miss Karen Keawe Hawaii with Ku'ulilia.
Yeah, where do you want? We're looking for him. Okay, then that's it. Then that's it.
School, the Royal Hawaiian Band, Karen Iolani, Hawaii. E na hoa maka mai Hawaii nui o ke awia hiki ni iho ka helelani na kamaaina na malihini aloha. For those of you that do not speak Olelo Hawaii, hi. We're really glad that you could be here. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you're able, and we'll ask you to remove your hats if you're able, and please rise for the posting of the colors. Presentation of the colors this morning. Presenting the Honolulu Fire Department's Honor Guard. Presenting the Hawaii National Guard, Royal Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the playing of our national anthem and Hawaii Pono'i by the Royal Hawaiian Band. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your Royal Hawaiian Band, Hawaii Air National Guard, and Fire Department Honor Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. For those of you that are members of the public here on a special day, and I do want to mention that because otherwise you'll probably go away walking away thinking that we do this every Thursday. However, the Royal Hawaiian Band is here every Friday, so you might want to make note of that in case you want to come back tomorrow and hear more of the Royal Hawaiian Band. Ladies and gentlemen, aloha. We are delighted that you are here today in truly a historic ceremony in honor of the centennial anniversary of the Hawaii Red Cross. I'm Billy V from Hawaii Sunrise, and it's my pleasure to be your MC today. Special welcome this morning. We'd like to say welcome to First Lady Dawn Amano Ige. Nice round of applause. Members of the State House and the House of Representatives, Pa'ipa'i Lima Kākou, and members of the Honolulu City Council, mahalo. What an honor it is to be here next to the majestic steps of Iolani Palace, the royal residence of our Hawaiian monarchy. In 1917, imagine for a couple of moments, World War I is raging around the world. Even Hawaii, a splash of islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, found itself fully engaged. The center of many Hawaii Red Cross activities was here at Iolani Palace. Volunteers were busy prepping thousands of surgical dressings and other supplies inside the palace in the throne room. And right here on the grounds of Iolani Palace, the Hawaii Red Cross was staging its very first membership and war fund drive. Over 16,000 people, if you can imagine, that's 1/6 of the total population of Oahu at that time, joined the Red Cross, raising over $38,000. If you can imagine, I want to kind of take you back and kind of imagine crowds lining the streets of our downtown Honolulu, and on a special streetcar, the Royal Hawaiian Band. And just imagine them playing the hits, the Bruno Mars music of time.
Sounds like you could hear them right now.
Even the technology of the time was different. They didn't have wireless microphones back then. Now if you can imagine ambulances parading around, and the Hawaiian Electric Company, the sponsor of today's event, sounded a big whistle every time 500 new members joined the Red Cross. Her Royal Majesty, Queen Liliuokalani, she became the 8,000th member, and a hiko whistle rang out special for her as she was presented with a special membership pin. Her Royal Majesty, Queen Liliuokalani. She ardently supported the Red Cross efforts to bring comfort to those suffering during wartime. She and her followers demonstrated this commitment. They sewed a huge Red Cross flag. 100 years ago, September 14th, 1917, just a few weeks after the American Red Cross Honolulu chapter was officially chartered, Hawaii Territorial Governor Lucius Pinkham and Queen Liliuokalani's secretary, that was Colonel Curtis Iokia at the time, presented that Red Cross flag to members of the Honolulu chapter on the steps of our Iolani Palace. Special to note the notes that went along with that flag. It was handwritten by the Queen herself. And it said, "The flag is an expression of my warm and hearty sympathy with the cause of humanity and an abiding faith in the work of the patriotic women in Hawaii. In presenting this emblem of the Red Cross, may I suggest that it be first displayed over the executive building so that all who see it may be reminded of their patriotic duty, and know that beneath its folds, in the throne room of Iolani Palace, sits a group of silent workers giving of their time and untiring efforts in the work of alleviation and mercy." What an amazing gift, what powerful words from Her Majesty the Queen. The flag served as a symbol of her support, and it was flown over Iolani Palace as a constant reminder of the help and relief that this organization, Red Cross, gave to people affected by the war. And the gesture by the Queen was very important to the people of Hawaii in uniting everybody under a good cause in the aloha spirit. So we're gathered here this morning under the great same cause to show our aloha for the Hawaii Red Cross. The Red Cross's legacy of compassion is made possible only through the work of its volunteers. Volunteers like Princess Iolani, who along with 300 other women took care of sick and injured soldiers. They were en route from the Philippines during the Spanish-American War. Today, Red Cross volunteers like State House Representative Ryan Yamane continue this legacy of compassion.
Aloha everybody, and thank you for coming. I am humbled and honored to speak today about the American Red Cross, the Hawaii chapter, here at Iolani Palace, a spiritual place which exemplifies dignity and grace. When I was asked to speak at the Queen's Palace, I remember the Queen's words of "E onipa'a kako," to be steadfast, established, firm, resolute, and determined. That is what the Red Cross symbol, that flag, means to many of us who serve during times of preparation and disaster. Dr. Mary Kavena Pukui described what we do as Red Cross volunteers as kumuhana, the pooling of strength, emotional, psychological, and spiritual, for our shared purpose. This group dynamic is characterized by the spiritual elements and directed in a positive goal, a unifying force of service and aloha. To all my fellow Hawaii Red Crossers and all who have ever put on the vest, volunteered or allowed their loved ones to volunteer, donated their time and money, know that we are all one ohana. To all those who are deployed and helping people across our great nation, we wish you a speedy and safe return. We are volunteers with the heart to serve during times of great suffering. When we serve, we give with all of our hearts and with a sense of aloha. Yet we return home with a heart filled with love. I am constantly amazed that during times of great calamity, the essence of aloha shines through. I remember responding to a house fire in which everything was destroyed. As I approached the mother of four, she held her children close to her and cried. I thought, what can I say? There's no words or gestures that can fix this. There are no gifts or information that I can give to replace their lifetime of memories. So I sat with her quietly, allowing her to grieve, and just comforted her children. A few minutes later, she said, I am so sad because my son lost all of his birthday presents, and I don't want him to miss out. Before anyone could respond, this young boy hugged his mother and said, Mom, we are together. We are okay. That is the best gift ever. In that moment, I realized the power of love and resilience will overcome any obstacle. We, the volunteers, want people across our state and across our great nation to know that when called upon, we, the American Red Cross Hawaii chapter, will answer the call and serve with aloha and with all of our hearts. Thank you.
Mahalo, Ryan, for your humanitarian service. Another hallmark of compassion is Red Cross life-saving training, as demonstrated by one Daniel Inoue. 17 years old, he was a Red Cross volunteer. He was called into service as he was outside in the yard, and he called out to his dad because they heard explosions in the distance. Then they saw planes flying over the house. So what did he do? He grabbed 2 pieces of bread. He pedaled his bicycle 1 mile to the Red Cross First Aid Station at Lunalilo School and used his first aid training to help with civilian casualties. He worked non-stop. Not that day, not a couple of days. He didn't come home for 5 days. Our late Senator Daniel Inoue. And Red Cross staff member, Alofa Ofagalilo, knows all too personally the importance of life-saving training.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alofa Ofagalilo, and I have been a CPR and first aid instructor for the Hawaii Red Cross for a little over 10 years. I want to share you my experience. Just this past February, I was getting ready to go to work when I suddenly started shaking and feeling nauseous. I went unconscious and was likely found by my 25-year-old daughter, who I taught CPR to along with all of my other children, 6 of them. And she was able to go through the steps of checking me, calling my other daughter to call 911, and then performing CPR on me. She performed CPR on me for about 3 to 4 minutes until the ambulance arrived and probably saved my life. Afterwards, she told me that she was so grateful that she was taught CPR because she felt confident in that type of emergency situation. Without her training and knowledge of CPR, I am sure that I would be here. And I am not sure I would be here standing in front of you this morning. I am so honored to have the opportunity to teach the Hawaii community these types of life-saving skills so they can also feel confident in helping their family and friends in potentially life-saving, life-threatening situation. Because that is what all the Red Cross is all about. Red Cross is about neighbors helping neighbors to fulfill our mission of saving lives, giving hope and love to those in need. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Aloha.
Mahalo, aloha, for sharing your story with us. Finally, we want to share how the Red Cross helps our dedicated military service members and their families during times of crisis. When this happens, the Red Cross works 24/7 to send an emergency message to the military member wherever they are in the world to bring them home. It's my pleasure to introduce Captain Jay Trinidad.
Good morning, Ms. Madayoshi, family and friends. I'm Jay Trinidad with the Honolulu Police Department, and I'd like to share my experience with the American Red Cross in my current uniform, HPD. in my other uniform as a soldier in the United States Army Reserve, so go Army. But before I start, I was told that there was no other first responders or military personnel giving remarks this morning. So thank you for allowing me to comment for both of my professions. And Carly, I guess it's like Rainbow Driving. I'm your 2-for-1 special for today. Back in 2005 and 2006, I was stationed in Bakuba, Iraq, which is about 35 miles north of the capital of Iraq, which is Baghdad. My team consisted of, well, we were the interface between the U.S. military and the Iraqi office. We consist of police officers, love the cops, attorneys, yes, we love attorneys, State Department and medical personnel, including a personal friend of mine, an Army nurse. She truly lived aloha in the middle of the hot Iraqi desert with a reassuring smile and cool demeanor. However, midway during our tour, she appeared to be just going through the motions. Her mind was back here on Oahu. She's constantly thinking of her auntie, who was suffering from a terminal medical condition. She was torn between her team duties and family obligations. But I kept on telling her, hey, the war's gonna carry on with or without you. You need to be home. So with that important Red Cross emergency message in hand, our nurse was able to be with the rest of her family when her auntie peacefully passed away. And when she came back to join us back in Iraq, everything was not good, it was better. Her head was back in the game. Now in this uniform, along with Honolulu Fire and the Emergency Services Department, the EMS guys, I always like to call us the First Responder Trinity. Just like any other organization, we're not perfect. We have our share of issues. But somehow, and I know you folks can all agree, somehow Honolulu seems to take care of business. Whether it be contra-flowing traffic on Farrington Highway on the west side for EMS to work on the victims of that 3-car accident, reuniting a 5-year-old girl with her lost parents, I say lost parents because there's no such thing as a lost child, at the 50th State Fair, or working with our firefighter brethren on July 14th in evacuating the residents of the Marco Polo high-rise, in which 3 people lost their lives in that 7-alarm fire. It's their aftermath of such incidents that the Red Cross really shines. For the Marco Polo, not only was an emergency shelter set up at Iolani School, meals and snacks were also provided to the affected residents and the first responders, which is pretty cool. As I always joked years ago when I worked, when we visit officers fresh out of the academy, you can't fight crime on an empty stomach. Yesterday, while on the organization website, the following statement stood out. 90% of the Red Cross workforce are volunteers. I'm sure they've been asked why would they be willing to give up their personal time to deal with people at their lowest, much like the first responders. You don't call us when you're having your birthday, huh? Call us at your lowest, yeah. I know personally you've been called in the middle of the night when Y9 residents have been told to immediately evacuate their houses due to the gas line leak, or to console with an elderly couple who just lost their condo in that 7-alarm fire when it was just 3 years to being paid off. This brings to mind a quote from the World War II hero, Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Doolittle of the Army Air Corps, Army. He led a squadron of bombers in a raid on the Japanese mainland, staffed by, you guessed it, volunteer crews. He once said, there's nothing stronger than the heart of a volunteer. American Red Cross, thank you for your heart and passion. You're working with us, the first responders, other local, state, and federal agencies, all 5 branches of the U.S. Armed Forces, and continue to build and strengthen our island, our state, and ultimately our nation's resiliency. Mahalo nui loa, and thank you very much for all that you do. Thank you.
I have one more introduction to make, but I'd like to do one more thing first, just to keep this in order. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you're able to. We're going to retire the colors at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. One more time, a nice round of applause for Honolulu Fire Department's Honor Guard and Hawaii Air National Guard Royal Guard. Usually when it comes to this portion of the program, I usually change my introduction a little bit. And I do this for special reasons, especially today, because our next speaker often puts everybody else in the spotlight. And their job is to do so much for so many people, not only here, but literally throughout the Pacific region and literally throughout different parts of the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you, please welcome, the CEO of the American Red Cross Pacific Islands region, Coralie Matayoshi.
Introduction like that. We are incredibly grateful to each and every one of you for helping us perpetuate our mission of preventing and alleviating human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. We're also very humbled to have received Queen Liliuokalani's flag 100 years ago, and that original flag is up near the quilt room of Iolani Palace, and I hope that you will take this opportunity after the program to see that flag. Thank you all so much for being here.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we'd like to do is, if you'd like a better view of the flag being raised over Iolani Palace, we'd like to actually ask you to exit the tent, because if you're under the tent, you won't be able to see the flag going up. And while the flag is being raised, there will be also a blessing by Kahu Kekoa Cordell, who joins us from the Kamehameha schools.
O ka hope o ke kaoha, o ke aloha ia, mai loka mai o ka nao mai mai. Ame ka mana o mai kai, ame ka paulele o ia I o. E aloha ko ia Kristo Iesu, I ko ka kohako, I ka mea, I ho I kaika mai iau. No ka mea ua mana o mai o ia e kupa anao. A ua ho lilo mai iau no ke ia oe hana. Mahalo ke akua for the strength that we receive as this flag shows proudly that red cross of sacrifice, of blood, of generosity. We consider it faith that you have put us into service. And so this ai represents that today as it flies above the Iolani Palace to represent 100 years ago the flag that flew above this building upon the mast. Mahalo ke akua, amen, e no ke akua pau. Amen.
Mahalo kahu. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special performance for you, and if you'd like to sit down, you may sit down inside the tent, or if you'd like to be outside in the air and watch the flag waving high above the palace, please welcome Henry Kapono.
Aloha, good morning everybody. I'm honored to be here and blessed to be here today to celebrate the 100 years of the wonderful organization, the Red Cross. Also here to sing a song that was written here, one of my favorite songwriters, one of my favorite human beings, the Queen Liliuokalani.
Ai ai
So, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are VIPs, what we'd like to ask, if you'd be willing, and we'll kind of tell you more about it in just a few moments, but we'd like to invite you onto the stairs of Iolani Palace to take a picture together. And there's kind of a significance behind that. So, if you'd like to, come on up to the stairs and we'll all take a picture together. And I know that this may seem like it's a heavy day, especially with a beautiful song like that as you're seeing the flag. But think of it this way. 100 years ago, there were people probably right where you are, looking up at the flag. 100 years later, the Red Cross is stronger than ever and helping more people than ever before. And who knows what another 100 years will bring. Family, come on up. Let's go take a picture together on the stage.